originally, I accepted. If you guys hadn't noticed, but I'm gonna go ahead and accept this so we can go and run this again because apparently I deleted the entirety of the video, unfortunately, and it got wiped out from the recycle bin. So I'm kind of disappointed in myself. But let's go ahead and run this again, shall we? I fished out the most tasty looking candy from the pile of sweets on the floor. Then took a bite. Milk chocolate melted in my mouth.
С выбором вас поздравляю. Веселитесь в этот час. Я желания исполняю, сокровенные для вас.
Антон, смотри!
My sister's face was smeared in chocolate and I was about to reprimand her. But words got stuck in my throat. A giant spruce shot toward the stars and disappeared somewhere in outer space, crowned by a giant moon. Giant balls shined on its branches. Garlands of lights gleamed with all the colors of the rainbow. The roof disappeared, and myriads of constellations sprawled on the night sky above us. Music, laughter, the smell of evergreen and sweets, and Teddy, Wolfie, and Hootie dancing beside us, and the snowflakes floating backward. I burst out laughing, touched the bushy golden tinsel. It was all real.
Это что? Это она?
Вы тут не про Небылиндию случайно говорите?
Это и есть Небыляндия?
Alyssa performed her theatric bow. Christmas balls gleamed and shimmered, and my soul shimmered in unison with them. I was becoming the magic winter forest, the soft evergreen, all of the constellations at the same time.
Добро пожаловать домой.
This is where my home always was. The snow sparkled, almost blinding me. Oya started spinning in a dance. She grabbed a candy with each of her hands. Wolfie juggled Kinder Surprise eggs.
Ты видел?
Consoles, handheld games, dolls, and transformer figures lay under the spruce as if they were brought here by trucks.
Это все наше!
I realized I was also dancing, so I replied while moving.
Многовато для нас одних. Я бы поделился с кем-нибудь. А ты?
Ну, если с кем-то хорошим.
A group of children stood at the edge of the woods, their enchanted gazes directed at our celebration.
Эй!
I jumped across the whole clearing and glided to the ground near them.
Хотите с нами? Спрашивайте.
The kids took each other by the hand. I led the procession toward the gifts. There was no better feeling than leading someone on the road to their dreams. The holiday party was finally in full swing. In every holiday, just like in A Beautiful Apple, always sat a nasty little worm called transience. Or transience, I'm pretty sure. Yet here, under the bristly paws of a magnificent spruce, holidays never ended.
Ты счастлив, Тоша?
Я счастлив.
Up in the sky, majestic fireworks went off, illuminating the dancing figures. My eyes wetted, my muscles sprung up. I tilted my head backward to look at the moon and screamed at the top of my lungs from overflowing emotion.
Ты счастлив, зайчик?
I jumped toward the stars and did a flip. All of Neverland could hear my scream.
Счастлив!
For the first time in the long days I'd spent in the new house, I woke up with a smile on my face. This time, happiness had had a tight grip on me. I stretched, enjoying the sweet sensation with every cell of my body. Outside, I could hear the joyful chirping of beautiful red-chested bullfinches who celebrated the bright January sun. Their chirping granted me hope that the naked forest outside my window would someday turn into a lush paradise for my parents and my little sister. The corridor was filled with dog barks and the patter of tiny feet. The door to my bedroom flew open, greeting me with a warm breeze and the aroma of freshly made coffee. Oya stood in the doorway, shining with happiness, holding the cute Zolka who wiggled both her body and her tail.
Тоша, гляди! Папа разрешил ей остаться!
Tears of joy formed in my little sister's eyes.
У меня теперь есть собака!
I couldn't help but jump up from the bed upon hearing this wonderful news.
Да ведь это же Жулька.
Сам ты жулька! Ее зовут принцесса. Да, ваше высочество?
The dog barked in agreement.
Тук-тук. Можно к вам?
To my complete surprise, Dad stepped through the doorway, smiling and hugging Mom, which was outright bizarre.
Как тебе пополнение? Мне эта дуреха под колеса бросилась, еле вырулил. Машину поцарапал, думал, голыми руками удавлю. А заглянул ей в глаза. Они такие, как бы сказать...
Умные.
Во! А сама дрожит вся. Ну, говорю, ладно, доедешь со мной до дома и сиденье не обгадишь, тогда оставайся.
Принцессы не гадят.
We laughed in unison, just like in the good old days when every little thing could easily make us burst out laughing.
Чего замолчал? Давай, продолжай.
Mom gave Dad a cunning look and he turned away, red as a beet. They were acting like total kids.
А еще из хороших новостей, ваш папа получил повышение. Грешно, конечно, радоваться, ведь старший бухгалтер пропал все-таки. Но, как говорится, нет худа без добра.
Это значит, тебя чаще не будет дома?
Это значит двойную надбавку плюс премии.
Правильно, Карина. Так что готовьтесь. На следующей неделе нас всех ждет семейное путешествие.
My heart started beating faster after those words.
Куда?
Oya even loosened her grip on the stray. She dropped the fucking dog.
Неужели в Макдональдс?
Скажешь тоже, Оль. Бери выше. Мы давно уже планировали эту поездку, да все не получалось.
Вы уж простите нас, ребятки.
Mom wiped away a tear with her fist.
Да ладно тебе, Карин. Все в прошлом. В общем, собирайте чемоданы, летим в Диснейленд!
My sister and I jumped up to the ceiling with joy. The dog also got excited from that passionate speech and joined us.
Ура! Диснейленд! Диснейленд!
Our jubilant screams filled the house, rushed through the attic and the drain pipes, flew across the front yard and sneaked into the shining white forest, taking the scary D word away with it. I swore that I'll remember this day forever. The day when my parents finally dropped their derisive masks and underneath them were the faces of parents we always knew and loved. Lilia Pavlovna still hadn't returned to school after Katya went missing, so today I was able to get a good night's sleep and went to school when it was already bright outside. The trail led to a snow-white plain with blackened houses in the background. They pumped out gray smoke that carried the smell of birch and pine logs. The freezing cold of the night had finally let up. It fell into slumber under the early sunlight. Ice sparkles appeared on the white caps atop the houses. I stopped, confident that nobody could spoil my good mood today. No sadness, no self-pity because of Paulina, who was probably already sharing all of her grand plans about conquering Vienna with Romka. all of that was gone forever. A cow let out a long moo somewhere in the distance. I fell out of my fleeting daydream and walked forward, crunching the snow blanket under my soles. Fluffy clouds floated above my head. I recognized the friendly shapes of animal kids in them. Suddenly, a snowball landed on the back of my head. Girlish laughter that reminded me of a small ringing bell in the spring breeze tickled my ears. I turned around expecting to see her, my lovely guide into the dream world, my dear Alyssa. Yet, instead of a fox girl, Paulina stood on the trodden path behind me, with her faithful violin case in hand.
Опять Петров ворон считаешь?
She lunged at me with contagious laughter, locking her arms around my neck. I just stood there in awe, drowning in the sweet aroma of her perfume.
Что с тобой?
She flashed me an embarrassed smile. I saw her cornflower-colored eyes gleam.
Дедушка мой, он снова может ходить, представляешь? В это даже сельский врач не верил, а он будто назло ему встал и пошел. О, это самый счастливый день в моей жизни, Антон!
She dug her face deep into my chest, tightened her grip on my neck as if I was more than just a friend to her. I started looking around, anxious.
Полина, нас могут увидеть.
Из-за Пятифанова беспокоишься? Брось ты это дело, его и след простыл.
I cautiously parted with Paulina, trying to understand whether it was some sort of prank or the truth.
Ну ты чего, не веришь, что ли? К нам вчера, буквально ночью, старший лейтенант Тихонов приезжал. Так и так, Бяша потерялся, а вместе с ним и дружок его Ромка.
A group of skiers glided past us straight into the forest. Paulina leaned into my ear, sharing her whisper with me, her eyes still locked on the skiers.
Как я поняла, во всех этих исчезновениях Тихонов подозревает Пятифанова.
Да ладно.
Я сама в шоке. По слухам, у Ромки того. Совсем шарики за ролики заехали. Да я, в принципе, и не удивлена.
Что ты имеешь в виду?
А ты не знал? Он из проблемной семьи. Даже думать не хочу, что творилось у них дома.
Romka always seemed excessively aggressive to me, always angry at everyone without a good reason. Now the darkness that he harbored within overflowed into the outside world and led multiple small innocent souls to their demise as well as his own. It was hard to believe, but the first time I laid my eyes on Romka, I thought that things would end this way.
Вот, а ты еще мне его сватал. Как вспомню. Бррр.
Прости, пожалуйста.
She waved her hand and smiled.
Кто старое помянет? Вот бы еще и бездомные дворняги тоже исчезли. Не жизнь была бы, а песня.
I looked at Paulina with suspicion.
Да шучу я! Пойдем скорее, а то опоздаем.
Paulina grabbed my hand and started running along the village road, accompanied by joyful laughter. With every step, every laugh, and every joke, the warmth I thought I'd forgotten enveloped my heart more and more. The all-consuming feeling of love and falling in love came back to me, this time for good, it seemed. I tried letting go of Paulina's hand near the classroom entrance, embarrassed that our classmates might taunt us. But it was as if Paulina didn't care at all. She only gripped my palm even harder while opening the door. And she was right. Now that the cunning Katya, the heartless Romka, and the sneering Biasha were gone, our class looked as if it was sanitized from parasites. It became friendlier and kinder. I think it looks overflowing with hatred anymore. There was nobody to spit a ball of chewed paper at me through an empty shell of a ball pen. I sat at my lonely desk when Paulina joined me. I wasn't surprised at all. She was so charming that I could call her my muse. A wave of inspiration hit me, and I couldn't help but pull my sketchbook out of my bag. I licked the pencil lead, my eyes glued to my model. She smiled at me again.
Что ты задумал?
Спокойствие. Работает профессионал.
I drafted the shapes of her mesmerizing figure.
Знаешь, я часто наблюдал за тобой отсюда.
She glanced at her former desk, then fixed a strand of hair behind her ear in embarrassment.
Правда?
I outlined her cute cheeks with multiple wide lines. It was the first time I was able to grasp somebody's proportions so precisely.
Полина.
Что, Антон?
She froze in place, afraid of disrupting my work with one wrong move and dispelling the magic of the moment. My bad.
Наклонись, пожалуйста, сюда. Вот так, да, хорошо.
Choking from anxiousness, Paulina loosened a knot on her neckerchief.
Я всегда хотел тебя нарисовать.
Our eyes met.
О, Антон.
My pencil slid across the paper furiously, adding the shading to her chest.
Скажи, ты согласна стать героиней моего комикса?
Pleasant shivers ran across her body. She rolled her eyes back, enraptured.
Да! Да! Как долго я ждала этих слов, милый!
The lead couldn't endure all the tension and cracked, bursting into a million tiny pieces. I couldn't believe my eyes when I looked at the drawing. I was looking at a terrible daub in the place where Paulina's face was just a second ago, now rested some sort of formless mess. It took me some time to realize that I was sitting alone in an empty classroom, with only the specks of dust flying in the moonlight as my company. It was dark outside. My classmates, Paulina, the feeling of euphoria, all of them are gone. Somebody wrote down a nursery rhyme on the blackboard with a piece of chalk, but some of the words were wiped out and I could only read bits and pieces. 1, 2, bunny, meat. I was no longer smirking like an idiot. I stood up, pinched myself on the wrist. A ringing silence engulfed me. There was a taste of vomit in my mouth, and my ears buzzed like from an endless scream, full of despair and horror.
Эй, кто-нибудь!
Shadows swarmed in the corridor. I walked past the boarded up classrooms, past the rotten spots on the walls and silvery cobwebs. Spiders crawled under the ceiling. Lamps flickered anxiously. I stopped before the notice board, stunned. Hundreds of new photos were added to those of Simeon and Katya. Black and white printouts were glued on top of each other. The horrific collage of childish faces stared at me with empty eye sockets. Unable to endure the torturing stares of those watchful gaping holes, I ran out of the school. I crossed the front yard and reached the road where the wind was whipping up powdery snow. No people, no cars, no birds. Low clouds got stuck on chimneys. Windows that looked like they were painted over with ink. Photos of missing people enveloped lampposts and fences like paper skin. Mostly kids, but some adults too. It felt like all the people who once lived in this village now became black and white ghosts in the photos with a person missing label. I need to take a drink. I dragged my feet forward along the dead street. Some houses had their windows smashed. The wind made itself at home there, wandering the rooms. Every gust made the front doors swing. Kids' coats hung from the fences, their sleeves moved, stretched out toward me. An empty village. An empty husk. What happened here? An overthrown waste bin rumbled across the black back alley. Something flashed inside the window frames of the charred village store. I ran away from its sooty facade, then heard a guttural roar coming from the well. I started walking faster, trying not to pay any mind to the darkness inside the front yards, inside the bloody dog houses, inside the crooked shacks. The moon appeared from under the clouds. Something flew over my head in this draining silence. As if a crop duster flew from one roof to another, a huge shadow loomed over me. I rushed to the right, hoping that I wasn't noticed. A small green house in front of me was my shelter. I rushed towards the closest building, going insane from fear. I pushed the gate, crouched and scampered toward the porch. I tugged at the doorknob. The front door was open. A wheelchair rolled out of the darkness, almost hitting me, tumbled down the stairs, clanging with its wheels, and stopped near an apple tree. I followed it with round eyes, then turned my gaze inside the house again. The corridor was obscured by the dark, empty frames on the walls, glass shards on the floor.
Есть тут кто?
I heard a growling in reply. From around the corner at the end of the corridor, a furry paw appeared, and after it, a scary beast face with a pair of burning eyes. A huge overweight beast crawled out on its belly, writhing like a snake. It could barely fit inside the corridor's mouth. It squeezed forward, clawing at the floorboards. Its maws clanged like a bear trap inches away from my face. The beast got stuck. It banged its paws on the wall, spitting saliva in every direction. I turned around. I needed to get the hell out of this nightmare. A hunchback owl, bigger than an average human, landed near the front gate and stood in my way. Its beak kept on clicking. A snowplow bulged nearby, and something reminiscent of a giant shrew crawled to the outside. I fell to my knees as if praying to these eldritch creatures. A figure draped in a dirty fox scalp crawled out of a dark hole, smiling with all of its teeth. Its tail dragged after it, just a piece of vertebrae laced in torn sinews. The creature's bodies became extremely distorted, and I decided I was going insane. They seemed small to me one moment, as small as a child, only to stretch higher than any of the desolate houses the next. Man-eating creatures towered over me. Something kept on writhing in their stomachs as if looking for a way out. The longer they stared at me, the wider their twisted smiles, their death masks became. The mutilated fox taxidermy mount clicked its lips. Its tongue looked like a black centipede, longer than my forearm. The nasty insect ran between the razor-sharp teeth and dropped into the bottomless pit that could swallow the whole world. There was nothing human about their speech. It was all just animalistic growls and bird-like whizzes. But I was able to understand every word as if we were speaking the same language.
Ты сам не захотел есть свою семью. Жалкое мясо, никчемное мясо. Ты ничтожен, братец. Меня тебя тошнит. Позор! Позор!
Indescribable horror gripped me when the laughing beast held their clawed paws toward me. Then suddenly, the thing that pretended to be a fox started barking loudly.
Глупцы! Его черед нести угощение. Пусть исполнит предназначение. К завтрашней ночи ждем места, а иначе... 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 Иначе мы съедим всю твою семью!
The monsters formed a circle around me and started dancing. I screamed. Huge eyes, fangs, claws flashed in front of me, blurring into a string of colorful spots and smudges. A fox face protruded from the fuzzy lights that the beastly carcass has turned into. A desperate cry, my cry, rumbled across the back streets of the desolate village. The circle broke up and I ran for my life. It felt like I was running into a snare trap. My head was splitting. Ugly images danced inside of it, colliding, falling over, getting up and dancing again. They flapped their wings, poked my face with their beaks and their salivating maws. They howled and jumped around, and my eardrums were ready to pop, either from their screams or from the internal pressure that fractured my skull from within. My winter hat obscured my vision, and it seemed like the whole sky tilted, like a roof that's about to collapse. Snow crumbled from the sky like plaster. I ran through the empty streets, through the icy world, chased by a pack of beasts. Yet I couldn't see anybody when I turned around. I shut my eyes and hopped away from the ritual dance that went on inside my flared-up mind. I squeezed my ears with my palms to suppress the noise. I just wanted to stop my head from cracking open. The sunrise found me deep inside the forest. Damn. Everybody gone. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please hit the like, subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. And then I'll be doing I did do the Paulina one. I am editing that. I'm taking it in small chunks though. So trying to figure out what's going on. But yeah, that's wild. But I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. God bless. Ciao.